How to actually make Spanish part of your everyday life. Well, I'm going to give you a few tips so that you can incorporate Spanish in your day-to-day without it feeling like a chore. Make sure you stay to the end because I'm going to give you a 45-minute routine that I use for a very long time. Jumping right into tip number 1. Some of you may or may not like this, but I'm like the big sister that must tell you what you have to hear, whether you want to hear it or not. But you have to ditch social media. I know that's going to sting for some people, but that is wasted energy. That is hours worth of strolling, time that you could be committing into gaining a skill, gaining education, learning a language, Spanish perhaps. But that is time that you can't get back. And when you really think about it, even if you are learning something on social media, even if you did learn how to bake a cake, right? Are you going to do it at that exact moment? When are you going to actually use that information? So there's not many benefits to social media. It's gossip, entertainment, and wasted time. So what you're going to do to get some time for Spanish is you're going to take your stroll time back. You know, all that strolling on the phone. You're going to take some of that time back and you're going to commit that specific time to Spanish. That requires making a choice to learn instead of consuming. So jumping right into tip number 2, turn your entertainment into learning Spanish. And so when you have that downtime, that time for your entertainment and you're watching a movie, watch that movie in Espanol. I'm telling you, it will change your entire perspective. You will be getting inputs without even realizing it. You can start off by watching and listening in Spanish and have the subtitles in English. And then when you get more and more advanced, go ahead and switch those subtitles to Spanish. Music is another form of entertainment. So instead of just listening to your usual playlist, you don't have to listen to an entire Spanish playlist. But I say like every 3 songs, add in a Spanish song, right? So every 3 songs that you usually would listen to in your playlist, the 4th song, make that song a Spanish song. These little teeny changes can actually help you get your Spanish in without you even thinking about it. One of my favorite ways to get my Spanish on is a podcast. So if you can bring yourself to listen to a Spanish podcast once a week, they have like 10-minute Spanish podcasts. Maybe I'll do an entire video on some of the podcasts that really allowed me to listen to Spanish. If you're interested in a video like that, let me know in the comment section below because I got the tea. Now I need to be a little annoying for just a moment and tell you about my Spanish speaking program. So I have an amazing Spanish community that will support you and hold you accountable. We have weekly Spanish classes for 1 hour with native Spanish teachers. The link is in the comments or in the description. This can make or break your Spanish time. And it is so underrated. I never hear anyone talk about it in the Spanish community. And it is actually scheduling Spanish time. So here's the step to scheduling Spanish in your life. You look at your calendar. Let me show you mine. This is my entrepreneur book, okay? You need to be planning out the things that you want to experience in your life, right? And Spanish is no different. Actually put that in my day-to-day life. So after you schedule that time in Spanish, what I want you to do is go somewhere quiet. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Set yourself a timer for 45 minutes. Now, why 45 minutes instead of an hour? Because an hour feels long. Yeah, an hour feels long. And 45 minutes feels doable, right? So that's why I use the 45-minute method to just get started as a beginner, because I'm like, oh, I'm so busy. I have so many things to do, but I can take 45 minutes and spend on Spanish. How many times have you sat on that toilet and strolled for 45 minutes? Really be honest. As promised, my final tip, I'm going to give you a 45-minute routine that you can start today. I'm not about that procrastination life. Let's start today. Any and everything that you want to experience, a whole bunch of baby steps one day equal one big reality. So let's start today with a baby step, your first 45 minutes. The routine is the 15, 15, 15. 15 minutes to read, 15 minutes to listen, and 15 minutes to speak. So you're going to set that timer to 15 minutes and you're going to read something in Spanish for 15 minutes. I think it's Fluent with Stories, or it might be Fluent with SpanishStories.com. Either way, I'll put that over here somewhere, the exact website. If you're a beginner, I recommend that you read short stories over there. Just set your timer to 15 minutes and get to reading. If you're more intermediate, you need to push yourself a little bit. That's how you advance your vocabulary. And if you are advanced, you can read an entire book in Spanish. Just set your timer for 15 minutes. Right now, I am reading my own book, La Sociedad versus Tú, and it is very easy for me to read this book in Spanish because I wrote it in English, so I already know what it says. And now I'm just getting more and more vocabulary. 15 minutes for listening is very simple. You can either listen to something on Dream in Spanish for 15 minutes, or you can listen to a YouTube video for 15 minutes. But make sure whatever you're listening to is things that you are interested in your real life, so that can replicate into a conversation later on. Don't just listen to random Spanish. I'm not a believer of that. I really feel like you should listen to things that you would actually talk about. Like, I'm a meditation teacher. I know all the words in Spanish about meditation, about frequencies, vibration. You know what I'm into. So whatever you're into, make sure that that's where you spend that 15 minutes. So when you're actually having real conversations, you can recite some of the things that you learned. Last up is 15 minutes to speak. So if you don't have anyone to speak to yourself. You guys have got to start depending on yourself a lot more. So remember the things I told you to listen to for 15 minutes or to read for 15 minutes. So then you have a conversation with yourself. You set that timer about what you just read or what you just listened to. So whatever vocabulary you just learned, whatever phrases you just learned, you speak out loud about those phrases. You would talk about whatever you learned, whatever you studied, whatever you read, whatever you listened to. You would replicate that entire conversation out loud talking to yourself. And you've just gotten yourself 45 minutes of a bang study time of Spanish. Now, remember I said an hour feels long, but if you want to push it, give yourself 15 minutes of grammar. And you guys know, I keep this close by. So you can do one of these chapters in here in about 15 minutes. I would recommend, if you're going to use that extra 15 minutes, to use a grammar book similar to this or another one and just do one lesson for 15 minutes. Now you have a full hour of speaking Spanish, listening to Spanish, reading in Spanish, and actually learning some grammar about Spanish. If you like this video, check this one out where I'm actually giving a review about that book I just showed you. And if you want to speak some Spanish with me and my amazing community and my beautiful native Spanish speaking teachers, make sure you click that link in the description. Nos vemos pronto. Ciao.